Thank you for having me. I could have been anywhere else in the world, but God put me here. I went on here. So, first of all, I appreciate you coming. I just want to give you a brief rundown. Charlie kind of covered it all. I just want to be a little more specific.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a zapper, hopefully. but I get it.
Man, I can hit the arrow and keep it
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
Oh, the arrow's not working. It's on the
It's
screen.
touch screen, yeah. Yeah, it's working fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just right, but.
All right, so, I'm originally from Mississippi, right? Yeah, so if you're from the north, anywhere like that, and I say something you don't understand, hopefully you sit next to someone from South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, they'll translate for you. Like Charlie said, I'm an Army veteran. I started as a tanker in the Army, tank officer. I invaded Iraq in 2003, brand new lieutenant. After that, I became a military intelligence officer, where I became a counterintelligence officer. Served that role, worked in Kuwait. I worked in the entire Middle East during the Arab uprising. I don't know if you remember that. That was way before a lot of you were probably born. Man. So, I was a counterintelligence agent. After that, I got out and decided that I was gonna do something easy, so I became a teacher. The hardest job I've ever done in my life. And I invaded the country. I was shot at in a tank. And that was the hardest job I've ever done, was teaching. I taught chemistry and physics. After that, I became a high school administrator. And then the pandemic hit. When the pandemic hit, I was like, you know what? Teaching thing may not be my cup of tea. So when the world shut down, I went to work. I taught myself how to hack. I taught myself Linux. And I started studying for my cybersecurity cert. During the pandemic, I obtained my Security Plus, my CEH, and the OSCP. You guys know what those are? Oh, okay. So I obtained those certs while I was home, shut down for the pandemic. Started applying for jobs. What's crazy is I'm obsessed over things. So I made it a goal to apply to 10 jobs a day, every single day. And I did this for 2 months, because I was just gonna play the odds. You know, I was new to cybersecurity, and you know, when you're looking at the requisitions they put out, entry level is always what, how many years? 3 to 5 years. That's entry level for cybersecurity. That's it. So
Now, a lot of them also have net plus and security plus. Hold your hands up if you got served. Anyone?
what do you have? Okay.
So they're working on it.
Okay. And just know, I can have a PhD in front of me, but if I got a guy that has OSCP and CISSP, who do you think I'm gonna take? I'll take the guy from Turkey, so he's proven, knows what he's doing. So after that, I someone took a chance on me with no experience in cybersecurity or IT. I became an ISSE for NNSA Enterprise, National Nuclear. So the guys that deal with nuclear. So I was an ISSE. I just managed all of the apps, the Splunk, the Tenable, the Nested Scanner. That was me. I was controlling all that for the entire enterprise from California to the UK. I was responsible for monitoring and maintaining those systems. After about 6 months of doing that, I was promoted to the ISSO. So now I became in charge of all the few ISSEs that did the job that I did. And about, I'll say 3 months later, I was promoted to the Savannah River ISSM. That's where I'm now the security manager. I managed the ISSO, who in turn managed the ISSE. And a few months after that, I was promoted to the manager of the entire classified, all the classified networks at Savannah River. So right now, we have about 8. So I'm responsible for 8 classified networks. From system admin, networking, cybersecurity, the works. So that's where I am right now. And Charlie spoke about me being in different colleges. Well, I was in education, I did my education degree. I got my doctorate in early childhood education because I wanted to work with the little ones before you guys got to school. So that's where we kind of fall behind other countries because 3 and 4-year-olds in other countries are learning and reading while ours are playing with blocks. Stuff like that. So that's why I attended so many schools. Yeah. So I completely switched careers, became an IT professional, and to be honest, I'm living life right now. All right, so just a brief rundown of Savannah, of the lab complex. Every side of the map is a national lab somewhere in the United States. The labs are controlled by the Office of Science, the National Nuclear Security Administration, fossil energy, renewable energy, nuclear energy, and environmental management. I want to call your attention to environmental management. Savannah River is the only national lab in the world that's owned and controlled by environmental management. And the reason why is because in the 50s, when they had about 10 nuclear reactors in Savannah River, they didn't take care of the environment so well. If we had a wrench that was contaminated, you know what they did? They dug a hole, threw it in the hole. There. Let the future deal with it. We won't deal with it. They got bulldozers. They got old cooling tubes just thrown in a hole and buried. So the Office of Environmental Management took over Savannah River, and now it's our job to make sure they clean it up. And we're in the process of cleaning and monitoring right now. So as you can see, the NNSA laboratory, Los Alamos, Sandia, Lawrence Livermore. Those are the labs that deal with the ICBM nukes, designing new nuclear bombs. Those are the NNSA labs. We also support them with some form of fashion. So any questions on the lab before? All right, so now talking about Savannah River. Currently, there are about 40 acres of Savannah River that's built up, but it's spread out at about, I'd say Savannah River, the entire Savannah River site is about 350 square miles. When they first designed it and built it, they had to move 4 towns. Like, telling people to pick up and they gotta go. So in the 50s, they looked for, I say, certain criteria in order where they were gonna build these labs. One of them had to be fresh water running through them because they were gonna build reactors, and you need water to keep the reactors cool. Had to be in a rural area. So that's how Savannah River was selected, or the area was selected. Currently, we have a few things going on in Savannah River. One would be we have intelligence going on in Savannah River. Intel is non-proliferation of nuclear materials. We have our global security, that's another one. I'm trying to remember a lot more about it than I do. Cause I was basically focused on, what I normally focus on is just the classified network. So if I can go into detail with that to a certain extent. Are we all here, Timothy? Okay. So, classified networks I work with, top secret networks. Those networks deal with all of the intelligence, all of the special access programs, all the other three-letter organizations that we partner with. We have another one, our secret network. That network, that's how we speak to the other DOD, partners like the Army, Navy, Marine that have nuclear weapons. And we also have another network that's DOD specific classified network. And that network is where we transmit all of the nuclear information as far as missiles, the paint that goes on it, design, all of that. And all those networks are air gap, so there's no way you can get to it unless you already on it. So, any questions about the Savannah River? But the lab and the site, we have two different missions, so a lot of times we don't. We're complete two separate topics. Two separate missions. So you have the Savannah River site, you have Savannah River's actual lab. You also have a treatment process, which is what Charlie was talking about earlier. So, any questions before I move? All right, so Valerie Freddie is our internship program. She couldn't be here today. I was gonna bring her, but she would speak about the internship. So the only internship I can speak about right now is our Inspire internship. And that's the applied science professional internship in a research environment. That's for everyone that has a STEM degree. So it is from freshman all the way to grad student. You can apply for the Inspire scholarship. But the deal is, you must be a U.S. citizen because most of the time you're gonna be working in classified environment. And like I said, from freshman to senior and all the way up to grad student, you can apply for the internship. It's usually a 10-week internship, but I know, you have two cybersecurity guys that started as Inspire interns, and they did such a good job. They were extended for a year, and then they became permanent employees. If you want more information on this internship, if you scan a QR code, it will take you to where you need to get for more information and also apply. The only issue with the Inspire internship is you have to apply between 1 November and 1 March for that upcoming summer. So for 2026, the application will be out in 2025, the application process is already in. And just a question, is there any way we can, do you do these presentations?
Yeah, I do them in the fall.
You doing it?
Yeah, I'd love to have you back.
Okay. And this is a paid internship. I think, it's all dependent on your major in the place where you're working. Since all of your IT, you'll be at the higher end of the internship, so that's like, I would say $45 an hour, which is ridiculous. for an internship. And they'll also pay for travel to and from work. Let's say you live in California, you have to fly back to the internship. They'll purchase a flight.
Do you have anything in the fall and the spring rather than just the summer?
Right now, the summer is where it starts. And if they fill into the fall and spring, the beach holiday will extend. Those are usually the ones that work in the fall and spring. And I know in the CIO, which is the IT section, I think every intern that we receive, that they've been extended. Because it's so selective, they're so selective when it comes to the intern.
Question.
This is
How many interns you got?
behind it. Per year?
Yeah.
Since I've been there, I've only been at the site for 2.5 years. So I would have to say, it's four. The first year I was there, the second year I was there. Yeah. First team was cybersecurity. The, next to one was cybersecurity and one was the Linux admin.
So if they go full time, I'm just curious,
Yes, sir.
if it's $45 an hour as an intern, if they go full time, it's very lucrative.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And the other thing is, you get time off to go to class. Like, if you still, if you, like say you're in the math, you're senior, you want to go to math. They'll allow you to take class, get your math, and the days that you don't have class, come on into work. Like I didn't have it when I was in college. I probably went into IT early. I think, and hopefully, right now we have, I think, 4 other internships that we can't use right now. Reasons outside of our control. So, hopefully those will come back, those will be, put back in place. We'll be able to give you more options to apply. But right now, so fire. Internship for the way you go. So, again, you can reach out to Valerie Freddie if you have some questions. That's her email address. Valerie.Freddie, and that's our mail, .gov. She goes into detail. This is our last, internship class that we had for last summer. If you see the guy in the suit with the bow tie.
Yeah. It's.
I'll explain it, but this guy right here, he's the Linux admin. He was hired. The cyber intern that was hired. So the only 2 IT interns that we had for the summer, they both were hired. Yeah, we're technically, we're government contractor. So we work for the sales corporation.
You're not being impacted by all the federal stuff.
Not at all. Not at all. We work on a contract, so in order to do that, they have to go in and revise the contract, so that's, so it's more work than it, they probably want to do. Yeah, but our workload is increased, because the civilians that work with us, they receive emails, A lot of them just took the buyout and left. Go ahead. Sure. In order to work in my department, you have to have a top secret clearance. But I'm working something out where I can have a classified intern, and my guy will just mentor you while you're working, you just won't work on the system. Yeah. You won't come into the mall.
Will you help them get top secret, or for the bailing, do you help them go through that?
If they're hired, yeah, yeah. Like. Yeah, like these two, they paying me without clearances, but now they have DOEQ clearance, which is top secret clearance. It depends on where you live. Like I have a gentleman from Ghana, who was born and raised in Ghana, but now he's a U.S. citizen. He's trying to get his top secret clearance. They have to go to the person in question every morning on that the form for the clearance, the application. For a lot of his family members live in Ghana, so it took them about 18 months when they did. Where I've lived in the same place for the last like 10 years. So I cleared 3 months. Yeah, I get to. The person reject everyone who's on the play. That again?
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was that.
Oh, yeah, they did. Like if you owe, I was out there, you have a late fee on the Blockbuster card. They have no clue what I'm talking about.
I remember walking.
You heard of Blockbuster? Okay. Well, it's a card, and if you turn in your tape late, if you turn in your videotape late, they put a fine on the card, and you have to pay the fine before you can rent again, so.
That was around before Netflix.
Literally, Netflix put them out of business.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to buy that, but got used.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they weren't certain that it'd be a big enough business model.
Well, yeah, so, any other questions?
Another group decision, a group question?
Yeah.
Yes, you, enough with the senior period or no?
No, it depends. So you have secret, then the next level is the SCI, the peer containerized information. Like only certain, like just because you have a few, doesn't mean you have to know everything. So SCI, you can tap for a pilot.
So what about drugs, alcohol, all that? Your body's got to be clear, but what if in the past or whatever, now make federal and state all mixed up?
Yeah,
What happens there?
just make sure it's on your application when you say it. If you use drugs or you've been arrested, put it on your application. It's not gonna disqualify you, but don't omit it from the application, and they do the background check. And they interview one of your friends that you put on there, and they're like, oh yeah, we used to get high all the time together. They're gonna come back and question you on why you left that off of your application. Or if you've been arrested for, I don't know, jaywalk, and you like, I'm not gonna put that on there. They're gonna find. My son is a nuclear engineer, by the way, in the Navy, and he had to get a top secret clearance. And I think I got a ticket. We got the same name on it. He's a junior. I got a ticket about 8 years ago, when he was like 12. But when they did his background check, that ticket came up, and they were like, "Why didn't you report this? Why didn't you report this?" And he brought it to me, and I'm like, "Son, you were 12. You didn't have a driver's license. How could that be your ticket?" So after we clarified it and I still had to go get proof that it was me that got the ticket so that he can turn in, so he can get it cleared. Like when I say they dig into your background, they dig into your background. So it's be as honest as you possibly can.
I got one way or another.
They're gonna find out, yeah.
So if there's no other group questions, I'm gonna just go ahead and say thank you and let them come up and visit with you one-on-one. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Oh, could I give one tip? And I heard you talking about the resume. Remember, your resume doesn't have to be work that you've done. How many of you have a home lab? Can I see hands? Huh? No, a home lab.
Network.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you have like a server construction, work the house, or have you worked with,
You,
then for forwarding, then, you know.
yeah, it could be as simple as VMware and building VMs and networking those VMs on an external hard drive. Like, and that, guess what? That can go on your resume. You can take a free copy of Tenable or Nessus scanner, put it on one of those VMs on that external hard drive and just play around with it. Now you've got Nessus experience and Tenable experience. That can go on your resume. You get what I'm saying? Like I've got a home lab at home. I built my own offline AI chatbot. I use NAN. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah. NAN is where you use AI to automate simple tasks. Like if you want you guys in social media, you want your social media to post every day with something. You can take an article, drop it on a Excel spreadsheet. The AI will read the article, summarize the article, and you give it criteria for how do I want it posted. I want something posted funny on Facebook. I want something serious on LinkedIn. I want something shocking on Twitter. You give the AI those prompts, I would take the summary, create posts for each one of those every day, and all you have to do is just click post. Like you guys are born at the right time. Like if you figure out AI, you will be a millionaire. A lot of people are still afraid of it, and now's the time to jump on and get as aggressive as you possibly can and use AI and know how to use it. Like the professor was just saying, those placeholders are meant for you to put stuff in. So that's just my 2 cents. Start a home lab. It's easy. It's too easy. You can literally YouTube a home lab. That's how I learned everything that I do. I go to YouTube University. When I first moved into IT, I had no clue. I didn't even know what an IP was. But I just, day after day, I started chopping on the wood. And I cut the tree down. And I don't consider myself an expert because I think I know a lot. I think I've done a lot, but it never fails. I walk in and have a conversation with someone and they know way more than I do. It's just whatever you're doing, do it 1,000%. Become obsessive over this stuff. The more you obsess, the more money you make. I hate to say it like that, but that's literally how it works. That's why I went from. That's how I went from I was the entry level, the guy at the bottom of the totem pole, so now I control the entire kingdom. Literally, the guy that hired me for my position now works for me. So it's all about how obsessed. Put all your eggs in one basket. If it doesn't work, then get another bathroom. You know what I mean? So, sorry, I just had,
Right. Good one. Good one.
and that's why that's why I went from the army to teaching to administrator to IT. Don't be afraid. Always trust yourself. Just step out there. If you fail, get up, dust yourself off and fail at something else. But don't be afraid to fail.